Hola, hola, buenas noches, mi gente. Hello to everybody. As y'all can see, I have a guest joining me tonight, who I think y'all are as excited about as I am. Um, but before we hear from my guest, I want to thank everybody who is joining us live tonight and those of you who are watching on the replay. Appreciate you all. Um, and in case you are new here and very confused, like what is going on this channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Adelia Aborshade, but most people know me as Picky Girl Travels the World. I am picky and I travel. I think the name fits. 8.5 years ago, I left the United States. A couple years before that, I blew up my life because I believe that our time here is very limited, and it's really important that we spend it doing things that we want to. And so, as part of this new life that I have created for myself, I have this YouTube channel where sometimes I talk about my travels. Sometimes I talk about my life abroad. And sometimes I talk about money because, in addition to all of those other things, I am also a money coach. In particular, I have made it my mission to help women become more financially confident, um, because people can tell you that money don't buy happiness, but that's a lie. It does. And I'm not saying you got to have a lot of it, but you got to know what you're doing with however much you happen to have. So on this channel, those are the things we talk about. And so if that sounds of interest to you, make sure that you subscribe. That's really the only way to make sure that YouTube brings content like this to your feed. So, again, thank y'all for joining me. And now we get to welcome our guest, the one, the only, Farmer Cee.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
You know, it's very like full circle moment to have you here on my YouTube channel
Yes.
because what was it like 3, 4 years ago? Stephanie Perry mentioned that there was this Black woman farmer who was raising money, and she told us about you.
Yeah.
And I have a friend here who is big into tea. She even wrote a book about it.
Hmm.
She is also like buying land and eventually she's going to do, because she's also a chef, she's going to do some kind of farm to table thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, you need to follow this woman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fast forward to last spring, Reclaim the Retreat, which is the business that I run with my roommate and friend, Ivana Robinson.
Yes.
We hosted a retreat in the United States, and Farmer C gave us an incredible workshop. Yeah, it made the retreat. It was that fantabulous.
Oh,
So to have you here, like, this is a big deal
I
for
know.
me.
Usually I meet people virtually and then in person, but with you, I met you in person. So that adds a whole nother level to this.
Okay. And so y'all see, if you're not familiar, and you can see under Farmer C's name, she is our favorite herb farmer. Can
Yes.
you tell us just a little bit about your herb farm?
Sure. So I have Green Heifer Farms, which is located here in a fairly rural town in North Carolina. I'm pretty close to some major cities, but it's tucked in the corner, Liberty. And I'm on 15 acres that I purchased as raw land in 2018 with no farming experience. And since that time, I have built a sustainable herb farm, as well as have built my own knowledge base to be an herbalist and a tea blender. And my motto or my approach has always been grow slow so I don't know, because I was coming from a very stressful, white dominant environment where I was paid very well. But, sometimes that's their added um, endorsement to mistreat you. So I knew that what I did not want to do is to create an oppressive environment for myself. And debt is oppressive. I agree that I feel money is an energy. That's all it is. And I have very much an abundance mindset. So when Stephanie actually connected, I had a fundraising campaign. I think it was it wasn't for anything major. It was like $5,000 or something like that. End up raising 11, but I actually matched every dollar that I raised with our funds, either from the farm or from my savings, because I very well always bet on myself and invest in myself. And I was very focused to have this farm paid off at a certain time, which it is. So had never heard of Stephanie before. And then all of a sudden there was this money and there was this influx of people. And I was like, who are these people that come with you? And that has been the case with Stephanie ever since. When she comes, there's folks that come as well. You also, that was my first, remember I shared with you that I had never hosted a workshop for that many people here at the farm. And I think they were paid actors because everybody was just so graceful and so easy to work with, except for Larry. Larry was a bit annoying. But other than that, it was it was great. So yeah, I'm here at Green Heifer Farms. We focus on medicinal plants and herbs. We grow almost 4 dozen varieties. I make teas, beauty products. I sell herbs as single source, so you can come to me if you are picky about your herbs and you want top quality and you want them grown a certain way, and you also care about um, the sustainability of Black owned agricultural businesses, especially
I love
Black
it.
woman owned.
I love everything about Green Heifer Farms. Now, you mentioned that being a farmer, this is sort of like a second, maybe a third career for you.
Yeah, I've had a few careers. Started out as a teacher and highly respect the profession. But I got tired of those monthly reminders of my insignificance. They called it a paycheck. I said, this is so disrespectful, and you keep giving them to me. No. So I got out of teaching, got my master's, went into mental health, was a mental health clinician for a while. No, that was I wasn't able to be objective enough. And so then I segued into marketing, which is what my bachelor's is actually in, and built a career in marketing, won a few awards, did some things, and then segued into the fundraising space. And so at the time I transitioned into farming, I was actually working in an area of fundraising called Principal Gifts. That means you don't ask for less than 7 figures when you walk in the room, some 8, 9 figure conversations. And you deal with very, very wealthy individuals, and you hear a lot of intel and you gain a lot of knowledge. And you also realize that nobody's coming to save us, for real, for real. So all of those were lessons that I was able to take into farming, but not just farming, and building a brand and having consumer product goods, UPC codes, products on shelves. A lot of times when you say farming, people just lock in and think, okay, so you're in the field all day in overalls and you're not necessarily having conversations in boardrooms, but we are a wellness brand that owns our own farm. And so there is a distinction there.
Um, one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you is because, from the outside looking, it's like, wow, everything this lady does is uber successful. And like she must have had everything handed to her and it was so easy.
Okay.
Now, was that the case?
It wasn't the case, but I also started farming at 42, and I've been ambitious for a long time. So I did not get it out the mud. I got it off the MLS um, list. A lot of times I think the story associated with farming is a struggle story. And, this country has not been kind to Black people in agriculture. And it's still very difficult for them to see us in leadership roles as opposed to just labor. And it's especially difficult when you're a Black woman. Um, so I came into it with a certain skill set. I had ran national marketing campaigns, have raised over $80 million in philanthropic support. So I know how to go after a grant. I know how to um, diversify revenue streams and things of that sort. But I didn't know how to grow a plant. I showed the losses. I showed the failed crops and all of the challenges that we have faced. I'm 7 years in. A lot of people pick up on your story and they think that that's the beginning of your story, and it's like, no, that's just when you became familiar with my story. I'm 7 years in, and I have consistently been focused on building Green Heifer Farms. It wasn't something I picked up, then I put it down for a few months, and then I pick it up again, and then put it back down. And no, I consistently moved the vision forward, and definitely have had some failures. But the cool thing about failures is the way that you become an expert is through experience. So you take that failure and you document that failure, and then you have your solutions. And so now you're in a position to prevent that failure for someone else.
And so I just lost the question. You came to farming at 42.
Yep.
I am curious, did people think you were crazy? Because we've
Yeah,
already established you were very successful at
absolutely.
in your previous career.
Thought I had lost my mind. Some people felt that I was doing it just to prove a point. Another piece of the story is right before, soon after acquiring the land, I had a marital dissolution, got legally unentangled. And so that meant that I was single. I'm a Black woman. Like, what rational Black person goes into agriculture? No, that's struggle life. You're signing up for it. So yeah, I purchased land in a part of the country, part of the state that's very red leaning. So there were some concerns about that. And then again, I didn't know how to grow plants at scale. Um, so there were, yeah, absolutely. And why would you do this when you have a career? You're making, X amount of dollars. You have the things that society says at least is a certain rung of the success ladder. So why would you feel the need to give all that up, so to speak? But I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it that way. I've always betted on myself. So
How did you see it?
I saw it as an opportunity for me to essentially create my own customized joy factory. I had a lot of the external things that people check off, as success, but I was also dealing with a lot of racial animus, a lot of just outright where I was being targeted. at my job. So yeah, I'm getting paid well, but I'm miserable in that place. And I just got out of this relationship that just wasn't one that I would have ever been able to show up as my best self. And it was an opportunity for me to just truly do me. And I've tried poverty on before. I've been poor. I didn't like it. So that's why I figured a way to not be poor anymore. It's just not somewhere I'm comfortable. And I value my comfort. So for me, it was, again, grow slow. So I didn't owe. So I took my time and I developed my own schedule on how things were going to move forward. But I consistently moved forward, and I knew I could make it happen. You've got idiots being elected to run entire countries, and you believe you can't do what it is you set your mind? No. I was like, no, absolutely. I can do this.
It's funny you say that. Many years ago, when I was married, it was decided my children wanted to grow a garden.
Hmm.
And you've been around me eating, so I don't eat most things that grow out of the ground.
Hmm.
And whose job was it to oversee the garden? Me, the person that
Of
don't eat
course.
anything.
Yeah.
And I took a similar approach. I was like, through all of these thousands of years of human history where folks didn't have books and whatnot, they could figure it out how to like make stuff grow. I was like, there have been idiots that have done this. Surely I can. And I did. Now, did I eat anything that came out of that garden? No. But I did successfully grow some things.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think for me, it wasn't for me necessarily that I felt I could be a successful farmer without knowledge. Like I knew I had to learn a lot. And I went to farm school and I read books and I studied. Um, it's more so you see a lot of people in this world who are just what I consider spiritually raggedy, and they go out here in this world with all of the confidence and the boldness, and they make things happen for themselves even to the detriment of others. And it's not that I want to be like that, in no way, but here I am wanting to do something good for the world, and I'm questioning myself or feeling like an imposter. And it's like, no, no, I should be the one that's going out confidently because I know that what I'm doing, and I always knew that, my target customer base would be Black women. I knew who I was going to serve, and I knew that what I was bringing was good. So I just really had confidence in that vision coming to reality because of that.
And having that confidence, because that's one of the things I have down here. I'm trying to figure out where does that where does that come from? Because when I think of you, I think of confident and unapologetic.
Yeah, it comes from life experience. Both of my parents were college educated, yet, I still was a two-time teenage mom. Became a mom 10 days after my 15th birthday. And I realized at some point, the only way that we were going to be able to advance is if I figured some stuff out. And so that's what I did. And I, had some athletic talent, enough for high school, but not enough to sustain me in college. Plus, I had an injury, I had a kid. Not particularly artistic, but I'm smart. I'm smart. I can figure stuff out. I can retain information. I'm good at connecting and creating linkages for information. So I've you know have had a pretty smooth academic um experience. So I knew that, I could figure some stuff out. And it didn't mean that I didn't mess up. It didn't mean at times I did not deal with insecurity. Of course, of course. But I always am able to come back to myself and say, all right, you've had your moment. Either we gonna do it or we aren't. And be able to be my biggest cheerleader. And I used to tell my
I love it.
girls, you have to think highly enough of yourself that you make up for those who don't think highly enough of you. So if somebody is like, you think highly, you think you are that, you think absolutely, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? You're
100%.
yeah.
100%. Um, Talking a little bit more about the farm. So you
Mhm.
bought the raw land. You didn't know how to grow things. You say
Mm-mm.
you went to farm school.
I did.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. There's a thing. In many areas, if they have a large agricultural college, there's a function in every area called the ag extension office. And so they often run them. Sometimes there are other programs that are operable within a certain area. Yeah, I went to farm school, and you know what I realized? I need to make some money to pay somebody who know how to farm so I can focus on making money. So that's what I did. That's what I did. I got me some skilled labor. I was able to learn from them. The farm was essentially my classroom. But while I'm learning, we got to get this thing going. And that's the difference of being a farm owner versus being a, you know, just being a farmer. I'm a business owner. So let me go in here to this computer and let me make some deals and let me get some placements and some stores for our products, and let me focus on the branding and the website content and the social media and those things, and make money and provide jobs and pay people that can handle the field production piece as I'm learning. So, there's a lot of things I don't know how to do. I don't know how to change any of the filters in my tractor. I have two tractors. I don't know how to change a filter in either one. I know how to pay somebody though, that can change the filters. And I save that mental space in my head for something else that I do need to be focusing on. So yeah, that was the approach that I had.
I am curious. Okay, so you had this land and you
Mhm,
were like, I'm gonna grow some stuff on it.
mhm,
Um, and you also mentioned that you are a wellness brand that happens to own its farm. Was like from the jump, was that the vision? Like, I
mhm.
want to grow herbs, I want a wellness brand, or did those things just kind of evolve over time?
No, I went into it with the 5V approach. And for me, the 5Vs are your values, because you have to have those established first, your vision, your visuals, your voice, and your validity. And it's something that I teach to other aspiring and existing farmers as well. So my values were established. I knew what was important to us. We have the 4 E's framework: economic prosperity. Okay. I believe in the quality of life. I'm not going to downgrade my quality of life, even though I may reassess some priorities because I'm going into agriculture. I believe in equity. I believe in education. I believe in the environment. So I took those values and then I created my vision. What is it that I ultimately want to create? I didn't base it on how much money was in my account at the time. I didn't base it on what I think I might be able to do. I based it on what is the vision that I have for this company, and put that down and be clear on that. So ultimately, we are going to be the best herb supplier south of the Mississippi. So that's what we're east of the Mississippi, my bad. So that's what we're going to do. That's just that. So that's my vision. And I'm clear on what kind of experience I want for our customers, who I want to serve, what kind of environment I want here for our employees, etc. And that's what I make decisions on, and that's what I'm focused on. So even when I set my business up, deciding to set it up with the structure that gives me the option one day that if I want to sell the brand, which is trademark, I can sell the brand. That is not our land. Our land is in trust and the land stays in the family. And so I make moves based on what it is that I'm building as opposed to limiting myself on present situation.
Okay. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the herbs and the
Yeah.
things that you grow.
Yes.
Um, I don't know. This is your area of expertise. I don't know that I can at this point ask a good enough question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know that everything is organic and sustainably grown. It
Yes.
is, I was going to say, from my observation in my time on the farm, it seemed very like, I don't want to say like not invasive, but I guess like it's not like produced by a bunch of machines. I don't
No,
know.
no. We're very hands on here, high touch. Our plants are babied. They're only touched by mechanical things when absolutely necessary. They get music, they get fresh, cool groundwater. They live a good life. You can't argue in their presence. Don't bring them any negativity. Um, and we put a lot of care into producing them. So we focus on medicinal plants and herbs. We grow to scale, meaning we are growing to essentially our goal is to self source. And right now we provide 70% of our plant material on our farm. Um, like I mentioned earlier, we grow almost 4 dozen varieties. Our specialty are nervines, and that is a group of medicinal plants and herbs that support your nervous system. Stress is just such a joy stealer, and so many of us don't realize how stressed we are. We're dealing with things like anxiety. We're dealing with issues with getting good restful sleep, which is critical to health. Where some of us on edge pop off at the slightest thing, just not at peace, not having ease, having dis-ease in themselves, which allows for you to be more vulnerable to disease. And so that's an area that we really specialize on, but we also grow adaptogens. We grow alteratives, which are cleansing herbs when you need to detox and get your system all nice and clean. And we grow hemp flower. So that is one of the herbs that we grow as well for medicinal purposes. Have rich auntie in the kitchen. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. And our teas, our classic line of teas, rich auntie, sanity, blackity, fixity. There's a story behind each. The
I
name
love those
fits.
names.
Yeah, the name fits the attribute of the tea. Blackity has black tea in it. It's our only caffeinated blend. It's our energizing blend. And blackity, blackity, it helps you stay woke. And so we have that. We have our rich auntie. You must throw a pinky in the air when you sip on it. It's beautiful. It's purple. I'm also very big on aesthetics. I love a tea that looks good and smells good. And we're not adding all those fake natural flavors that you get in a lot of the tea that you get now. You're not getting dust. You're getting top
I
notch
can
quality.
attest to that.
Yeah,
It
you get some good
it was
stuff.
some of the prettiest tea I have ever seen. And I am not a tea drinker. Those of you that know me know I refer to it as leaf water. But that is not
You said
what,
that.
because low
I
key,
wasn't
that's what it is.
insulted though, because I'm like, it is. It's leaves, and you're infusing them in water. So I didn't. Yeah.
Yes. But her teas are so pretty. Like, I didn't know that tea could be pretty. I really didn't until I spent time there and saw what you were doing.
Thank you. Thank you. No, we take a lot of pride in it, and even our loose herbs as well. our packaging. Um, like I have one right here. We want you to see how pretty that is. This hasn't been released yet. This is one of our exclusive blends, but we take a lot of pride in it and put a lot of love into it. And we understand that we're not competing with the Amazon. My customers, I have a profile in mind. Okay. She cares about her quality, she cares about her well being. She is willing to pay for what it is that she wants. She understands what's in it. She's like, sis, I need you to be able to grow me the best. And I understand that in order for you to do that, you need a massage. You need to be able to show up the way you need to show up because you do show up. And I'm investing and supporting that. And so I just have the absolute best customers. I love them so much. If I screw up, you don't see them talking about me. You don't see them in those internet streets talking about she didn't even send my order. Talk to me. What I didn't do. I am sorry. Your order is on the way with extra because that's the kind of relationship I need with customers in order to be at peace. Because some people out here, they be working too hard for this money. Just lying and scamming and like, how do you sleep at night? I'm too herbed up for those shenanigans. I use my supply. Okay. I am herbed up at all times. So, yeah.
Okay. And so if somebody wants to buy tea, they go to the Green Heifer
Green
Farms
Heifer Farms.
website.
Sign up for my email list, y'all, because that's who I really be fooling with. Okay. I just be playing on social media for real. My goal, if you connect with me on social media, is to get you over to that email list because we own that. We do not own these platforms. Although I am going to do better about YouTube, but I be doing these videos on YouTube answering questions. People be like, "How do you do this? How do you do that?" You do this in-depth video. Nobody watches it and then they want to jump in your inbox like, well, I just want to know how to start a farm. It's like if you don't get over there to that YouTube channel and watch them 250 videos that I uploaded and quit playing.
There is a link to Green Heifer Farms in the description of this video. There's also a link to Farmer Cee's YouTube channel. And particularly if you are interested in the health benefits or, you know, what exactly do adaptogens do and how can you use that to enhance your life? That's the stuff she be talking about over there.
Yes.
So absolutely, you should subscribe to her channel. I am on her mailing list and it's enjoyable, even though I am not a tea person. Um,
You did try some though. You did great.
I did. I
You did
did.
great.
And whatever it was that you used to make the purple lemonade, I thought that was delicious. So if that was leaf water, so be it. But I thought it was delicious.
Yes. That was the rich auntie lemonade that I made.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Um,
When will
when will the
teas be
teas be
restocked?
restocked?
Some of them are stocked now. Some of them you gotta wait to this season. We grew more. We grew a lot more, but folks bought it. They bought it. And I don't know what to tell you. They bought it. They got it. So we're growing even more this year. Because remember, we grow slow, so we don't owe. So it's like, okay, how much y'all want? All right. Oh, y'all want some more? Okay, we're gonna grow some more for you. So you can expect to start seeing pre-order communications. For some of our teas, like Rich Auntie, we have to do pre-order because the waiting list is just
It's
long.
so popular.
Um, it really is. That's our girl right there. So yeah, get on the email list. You can join, sign up and let us know which tea you're interested in, and then we'll let you know first. We always let our email list know first before we even come over to IG. Which is why you very seldom see me like really on IG pushing products. I'm trying to get better about talking about them, but I don't be having nothing for IG because by the time I come
I,
over there, I sent the email.
I feel like if you want to be in the know, you get on on the email list, because low key, by the time you're over on IG and you see a post and you're like, oh, I want some of that, it's probably sold out. You
Exactly.
do really do need to be on the email list so that you are the first to know. um so you're growing teas, you're growing herbs.
Hmm.
You are also, I love this. You have what you call the resiliency retreat.
Yes.
Resiliency.
Get it? Resiliency.
I
See?
love it. I love it.
Yes, it
Terrific.
is my guest tiny house. I have two tiny houses on my farm, and I'm getting ready, Adelia, to build my third house, which will not be a tiny, it'll be a small, but I'm going to relocate to that. So I have two tinies available.
Okay.
But it is a place that you can come and you can retreat. You can just, work on those ideas that you just need some peace and quiet. You can nap. You can come outside with us. Um, YouTube channel says not working. I'll put it in there.
Hold
Um,
on. I'll
okay.
check the link,
Okay. You can
because
come outside, get your hands dirty. You can come in the herb cabin with me, learn how to blend herbs, things like that. It's real organic. And I have it set up. You do complete an interest form. It is donation based. But as I was saying before we went live, there's some that have had some requests that we could not meet, we couldn't agree to, but for the most part, it has been a great experience, and I'm so glad I got off of Airbnb, number one, because they got some stuff going on right now, but two, it really allows me to really vet the energy that comes out here. That's one thing we've been very intentional about. We're not open to the public. You know, no, we don't just do tours in general, because again, our babies are spoiled. We can't
I
have
was
just
gonna say,
anything out
I
here.
feel like it's a sacred space.
It
Like,
is.
just can't know anybody be up in there.
No. And if you don't love Black women intensely, your spirit is not, it's going to be vexed. It is going to be vexed the entire time you were here.
So, and it's, I didn't think about it that you've got the two tinies. Jewel was on the channel last week and we were talking
Mhm.
about tiny houses and the benefits. Um, my friend, who is a chef and a farmer and a tea enthusiast, when I told her that you had the tiny houses and that you could go and be on the farm and learn and work, she was over the moon. Now, she just had a baby, so we're working with the husband, so that
Yeah,
he can be on
yeah,
baby duty so she can come and stay there. But she was over the moon. I think it's an
it.
incredible space and opportunity, because I mean, we all know, I believe very strongly in the power of retreats.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said for stepping away from your everyday life and getting really intentional and spending that time with yourself to do the reflection on whatever it is.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. We've had people that have come to celebrate a milestone. We've had people that maybe have received some not so great news and they just need to come somewhere safe to process it. We've had people come to finish that chapter on that dissertation. We've had people come that are writing that plan to get away and they need to get somewhere and figure it out. And then again, we have those who are maybe not even interested in farming, but just want to experience the therapeutic aspects of horticulture, of putting your hands in the soil, of being surrounded by these, these smells and sights and sounds that are all connecting you with nature, and then the energy in this space. Green Heifer Farms has always been a brand that centers Black joy, and specifically that centers the joy of a Black woman. That's that secret ingredient we put in each of our products. And people are like, why is it that your mint is more minty? Why is it that your butterfly pea is butterfly peeing? It's because we got that secret ingredient, that Black girl magic. Those other folks don't have that. But yeah, I would love to have you all join. Um, submit the interest form, and we accommodate who we can as we can. And we also have a couple of workshops we'll be doing. So definitely get on the email list.
Is there a particular time of year that like the farm is closed, or are y'all going all year round?
Well, because we produce products, people order all year round. Folks do
Okay.
not stop buying tea in June, believe it or not. They still are going to get their teas, they're going to get their herbs. And in addition, we sell herbs that people use for their own apothecaries and herbal needs. So yeah, we sell year round. And we are now at the point, like the wintertime, we have tea plants that are still out there. I just gave them a blanket of mulch today because we have some snow and ice coming. We have our greenhouse that's still stocked with all of our babies. So, yeah, something is happening.
Okay.
Around. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any advice for folks who maybe, I don't know if they want to start a farm,
Hmm.
but want to start growing some things? Because I think this is my opinion.
Hmm.
I think we've hit that point in the timeline where it's going to be really important for folks to be growing some of their own food. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
because we did have this question here starting out ground zero. What resources would you seek to assist
Okay.
getting started? Farmers, co ops, online communities, books, what have you?
Mhm. I could probably answer that one better than the one regarding people learning how to grow. Um,
Mhm.
some people need to learn how to grow, and some people need to focus on other things and other resources so that they have something to provide to the people that know how to grow, so that we're
I'm not the person that should be
collaborating.
growing things.
I don't grow produce. I do not grow the food. First of all, I have a very diversified palate. I'm an Epicurean at heart. There is no way I am going to limit myself only to what I am producing. I grow profits. And I like to take those profits and go to other farmers who are growing fantastic things and say, hey, let me buy some of what you have and give you this money. Like, I love doing that. For me, if I'm talking about growing, I am talking about growing in the capacity of a business. So I haven't really done the other than watermelons. I do grow watermelons for myself, but then I don't share them. So I still wouldn't really be able to tell y'all much. But in the regards to if you are interested, and it doesn't have to be a farming business, if it's just entrepreneurship, or you're interested in creating some type of brand that you are going to need to purchase things that are grown. Um, I personally did not do farmer co-ops. That could be a resource. I I like to protect my peace, and I've just seen it seems like when in some situations it's a lot of politics and things like that involved. So um, I support those efforts, but I didn't necessarily want to join or create a co-op. I would say initially, number one, assess your own financial situation. What do you have that you're going to be able to commit to developing your business? If it's $50 a month, if it's $100 a month, you need to get in that mindset of that. Be very clear on what it is you're trying to do and understand your market. There's so many people that I've talked to who have told me that they're aspirational farmers, and I'm like, hey, what do what's your plan? And they're like, I'm going to grow all of this produce and I'm going to sell it at very low cost to help feed hungry people. And I'm like, that is so noble and that is fantastic. But please understand, you're going to be hungry too. You've got to figure out a way to make some money and then give it away. Okay. As opposed to your whole model is on giving it away up front. You got to balance it out or you're going to burn out. And you've got to know if there is a market for what it is that you want to grow. Do they need more tomatoes in your area? Like, is that a necessity or is that something you just feel, well, everybody grows tomatoes? Understand your market, understand who it is you're going to serve, who your customer is, and be very clear on where you land in the agricultural space, because you're going to need to be able to effectively communicate that if you want to go after grants, if you want to go after cost share agreements and things like that. And then you need to also be very clear on what it is you need. Everybody thinks they need to run out and buy land. That is not the case. Some people don't need to buy land. You can rent land or lease land. There are other options. Join in on community agricultural projects and figure out how to start generating some revenue and establish your business legally. You do not have to have land in order to get your EIN number, in order to register with the state, in order to go ahead and get your bank account, legitimize and legalize it. Because what can happen is you can use that land as something to stall progress. Well, I would get started, but I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this land. There is not a grant from the government to buy you some land as an individual. All right. Anybody who tells you that, they're lying to you. If that were the case, do you think that Black farmers would own less than 2% of the land? Like, come on. No, there is no government grant that they're passing out to help you buy land. Get rid of that. Okay. There is money to help expand, but you got to start something. So think about that. And yeah, be very selective about who you're getting information from. There's a lot of people out there saying a lot of things that are not true. There are a lot of farmer influencers. There's content creators and then there's content generators. If they're really out here farming, they're generating content. So be selective about who you're giving your coins to and who you're investing in for information. There will be no government grants anymore. No, there's going to be some.
Um, is there, because I see, you know, on IG and whatnot, I see folks talking about I want to start a farm, or we've got this property and this is what I want to do. Is there somebody for whom you think that, like, being a farmer, owning a farm, that who would that be a bad decision for?
People who give up easily, people who are easily discouraged. It would not be easy for you. People who can't stand nature. If you don't like any bugs whatsoever, you don't like the heat, you don't like to be uncomfortable, any type of inconvenience. If you know that about yourself, don't make everybody out there miserable. Just go on inside. Maybe you can work on like an inside project, help with the marketing or something. Find something else to do. And also people who have just limiting beliefs and aren't willing to be innovative and think outside the box and take a risk, and say, hey, instead of I'm focusing on growing strawberries, I'm gonna, you know, work on bringing my grandma's famous strawberry jam recipe to product, and I'm gonna, take a chance or something like that. If you want to be successful in farming, you have to be, I mean, we're entrepreneurs. We are entrepreneurs. You have to have an entrepreneurial mind. as opposed to being someone that's, just stuck in more provincial thinking. So those would be my tips. And also get over the struggle mindset or thinking that farming is um synonymous with struggle. Like, no, no, don't go into it with that shoestring mentality. Um, so yeah, those would be my suggestions.
Okay. All right. Um, Royal wanted to know, do you sell only retail or do you do wholesale as well?
I do have some wholesale customers that I work with. We are in 8 brick and mortar co-op stores regionally. So we sell our teas, our UPC products, wholesale. And then I have a few herbs that we sell bulk, to direct to consumer, as well.
Okay. All right. Um, do you happen to know how somebody would go about finding CSAs?
How would you go about finding CSAs? Of course, social media, online, um, utilizing like Facebook groups that have farmers in them. They always have lists of, different resources. So those would definitely be some great sites. I mean, great resources. Of course, Google is always a great one. And then in your area, if you have like an association that works with farmers here in North Carolina. We have Carolina Farm Stewardship Association, for example, and they keep a listserv of various farmers. And so you may have something like that in your area. And then, of course, the farmers market. Find your local farmers market, go. A lot of those farmers have CSAs. And so that's just a great place to connect directly with farmers, especially if you're looking for like fresh produce and things like that.
Okay.
I
So
don't
we
do farmers
covered,
markets, so I'm kinda limited. I don't do farmers markets or a CSA, so
and I assume that's intentional.
yeah, yeah, no, that I don't wanna do all that. You guys set your own tables up and stuff. I'm not I'm not trying to do you do. I went to one farmer's market and I pulled up into what I thought was a loading area, and girl, I sat in my truck, like, waiting, like, "What the folks gonna come and unload my truck?" They were like, "Honey, you gotta do that yourself." I had to put my own tent up and everything. I was like, "Oh, this is a lot." I had my daughters with
Well,
me. They were complaining like, "Ma, it's hot." I'm
we
like, "I know."
where we live in Mexico City, almost like every neighborhood has a weekly market. It's kind
Yeah,
kind of like a farmer's market,
yeah,
and them folks be out there early,
they do.
setting up scaffolding and tents and tables. Then they work all day, and then they gotta break all that stuff down. So,
Yeah,
no,
it's
I
it's
wouldn't
it's
wanna do
real
all that.
work, and I have much respect for farmers who do it, but I couldn't make the numbers work for me. I couldn't figure out how I was gonna be able to do that enough and make the profit margin that I knew I needed to make for the quality of life that I knew that I was creating for myself. So it didn't fit my model. But yeah, those are where I would think you could go to
I
connect with.
think that's an important thing. And I think that's a big thing that we can learn from your example is that the way you do business, the way you set up your life, it ain't got to be like everybody else's. It's really about doing what makes sense for you and the way that you want to move through the world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Somebody else chiming in on the freshness and how fragrant, and
Harlem
they are so
Market, yes.
pretty.
Hey.
That's the thing that struck me is like I never knew tea could be beautiful,
Yeah.
and yours is.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we talked about, you know, the teas and the products and your tinies that
Mhm.
people can stay in. Um, is there anything else that you want us to know about Green Heifer Farms, the work
Yeah.
that you're doing, or about you? Like, because this whole one of the big reasons I wanted you to come on is again, I think your life is an excellent example of where we can be, where we can go, what are the possibilities if we bet on ourselves, if we choose, we say yes to the things that we want in life versus like trying to pursue this idealized version of like, well, this is what people do.
Mhm.
People want to be, you know. So, is there anything else that you think we need to know?
Yeah. Well, on the herb space, I strongly encourage people who may not use herbs to expand their well-being um, to consider it. It is nature's medical system. It is the healthcare system that most of the world depends on. I'm not an anti-Western medicine person. Make very informed decisions about your healthcare, but I am someone who truly believes in the power of plants, not only how they can benefit us internally, but also the benefits externally, especially as you become more seasoned. You know, this is my last year in my 40s. I don't plan on getting stuff filled and nipped and tucked. No slight to other people who do. I just tend to think in acreage as opposed to, you know, how some people look at a purse. Like I was recently in France for a week and was not tempted at any point to buy like a luxury item. We went by one place and you know they had a bag that I happened to know was like $24,000 for that bag, and I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, wow, you know that's X amount of acres and etc. I think in land and not brand. So I definitely encourage people to think about their well-being and how they can incorporate plants into that. And then for those who are interested on the business side, um, again, you know, don't limit yourself. I have the Green Heifer Farms brand, but I also have the Farmer Cee brand, and both generate revenue. I do speaking engagements and conferences. I have a book deal that has been secured, and so will have my first published book in the first part of 2026. And those are things that are possible because I don't limit myself. And I am always open to opportunities and open to ideas of innovation that are in alignment with my values and with protecting my peace. So, definitely, if you are interested in going into farming or going into any type of agricultural based business, um, be as receptive to the entrepreneurial and business side as you are to the production side, because you can pay somebody to do the production while you're getting things going.
I think that that is kind of that paying somebody to do those things or figuring out where in the agricultural business your skill set makes the most sense versus
Yes.
killing yourself out there in the dirt when that's not really where you should be. I think that that mindset is kind of such the antithesis of what we think about when we think about, oh, somebody's going to become a farmer and what it has to look like.
Hmm.
And I appreciate you for reminding us that there is no have to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
We
customized,
all get,
customized joy.
yeah, we get to decide what it will look like. Thank you so much for joining us
Absolutely.
tonight. I love that what you're doing with your business and your life is aligned with your values, because that's a big part of what we do over here
Yes.
and
Yes.
what we do with Reclaim the Retreat. Like, to me, that's the cheat code, is, living in alignment with your values.
Yes.
Everything will work out as long as you're doing that.
I totally agree. I would say that is the secret to true wealth and happiness. Because I personally believe you cannot be wealthy if you are miserable. I don't care what your bank account says. So, and trust me,
That part.
I was a fundraiser for a long time. I saw some extremely wealthy, miserable people. So I don't aspire to that life, but I like to pick up and go when I want to. I like to surprise a adult kid with a paid mortgage or something, just a little, don't even worry about April. I got you. Um, and that's part of how I define wealth for me. So thank you so
I
much
love it.
for having me. And for all of the people, I saw some folks say some nice things. Thank y'all.
Um, Kay Stewart says hit the like button.
For sure.
If you are not subscribed to the channel, you should definitely do that. With the way the algorithms work, you cannot depend that on just that to always bring my content to you. If you are subscribed, YouTube will do that. But if you're not subscribed, there's no guarantee. Thank y'all for coming to hang out with me tonight. Oh, we have an announcement. I will be live on Friday. I need to double check the time, but I think it is 12 noon Eastern. I have a guest who lives in Europe and is going to come talk to us about what that has been like. I think she's been there 10, 12 years. So, you're not going to be doing any work on Friday anyway. So come hang out with me. Love to have you. All right. I will
I was
see
house shopping
everybody.
when I was over there. I did a little house shopping when I was in France. We'll have to catch up on that.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in Italy in April and I might do a little house shopping.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah. All right. Night, y'all.
Bye.